look around you. Where you are right now, as you're watching this, look around your house. There are tools you have you're not using that can actually fetch you a whole lot of funds.
Forget about what people are saying. Don't listen to what people are saying. What people say about you or think about you is none of your business.
Many entrepreneurs want to build a business at the same time feed from the business. It cannot work. In Lagos,
but you just get to do something. Stop waiting for the manna to fall from heaven.
Never you at any point think you have 100% strength. It's not possible. So as a leader, you focus on your strength 100%, then your weakness, you get someone to fill it in. Now, the person you are bringing in, ensure that the person's weakness is your strength.
You have to come with something to the table. So what are you coming with as a woman? What are you bringing? Is it your intellect? Is it your beauty? We all know that beauty doesn't help anybody. If not, I'll be where Dangote is today.
Please, if you are listening to me, don't try and sell what is not sellable if you don't have the funds to push it.
Thank you for connecting with Simeon Ononobi today. Live sessions hold every Tuesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Please turn on post notifications for live updates.
Hey everyone, yes, it is Connect with Simeon Ononobi today. This is the Friday edition, and as you all know, I would always have a gorgeous lady in house. Today I have the most delectable, the wonderful Chidinma Iwueke.
Hello everybody.
Chidinma, thanks for coming on the show. I know you're taking out from your very, very busy schedule to be part of this. Thanks for joining us today. So a bit about the program. So this is Connect with Simeon Ononobi, my humble self. I am the CEO, co-founder at Connected Analytics. You also know us as Thank You Cash. You can check out our website at connectedanalytics.xyz or at thankyoucash.com. Where we help businesses grow every single day. We try and figure out ways to make sure that businesses stay alive in Africa, because we all know 1 out of 18 businesses actually die within the first 1 month. So we really need to make sure that this doesn't happen or keep happening in Africa. And that's why we formed our company. Chidinma's company invested in us, and that's why I have decided to bring them today. This program is about connecting people, bringing people together, we complained a lot. We've complained about government not doing the right things, or we're not getting the right value from the work we put in. We're not doing the right thing. So we're bringing youths, we're bringing young people that are making waves around the world, not just in Nigeria, but making waves around the world. So for us, it is, for me personally, it's my mission to make sure that I stop complaining. I start telling people how not to complain and just go get things done. We've had editions where we've brought Daniel, who's helped 3 entrepreneurs start cake business. We've had other people, on Tuesday, we had the director of Genesis Cinemas, who came on and also showed us what tribalism means in business. So yes, you might be Yoruba working in an Igbo company, or also working in a Yoruba company. It means nothing. You can actually focus on what is right, focus on the tax at hand, and just get it done. And that's what we are here about. So we're going to be bringing entrepreneurs, we're going to bring in investors, we're going to bring in people. So hurry up. I'm going to give you 1 minute, call people around, because we're going to be taking a very, very critical topic today. How to know or make your startup investable. They invested in us. I don't know why they did, but they did. And she's going to tell us today why they did. So hurry up, grab popcorn, Get your keyboard ready to ask questions. You never mind, can tell, they're still investing. They're investing every single day. They could invest in you. So hurry up, call people around you, get people on board, and let's get the show going on. So after a small commercial break, I will get Chidinma to come start talking to us about her journey and what it is she looks out for in investing in people. So stay tuned.
Look around you. Where you are right now, as you're watching this, look around your house. There are tools you have you're not using that can actually fetch you a whole lot of funds.
Forget about what people are saying. Don't listen to what people are saying. What people say about you or think about you is none of your business.
Many entrepreneurs want to build a business at the same time feed from the business. It cannot work. In Lagos,
but you just get to do something. Stop waiting for manna to fall from heaven.
never you at any point think you have 100% strength. It's not possible. So as a leader, you focus on your strength 100%, then your weakness, you get someone to fill it in. Now, the person you are bringing in, ensure that the person's weakness is your strength.
You have to come with something to the table. So what are you coming with as a woman? What are you bringing? Is it your intellect? Is it your beauty? We all know that beauty doesn't help anybody. If not, I'll be where Dangote is today.
Please, if you are listening to me, don't try and sell what is not sellable if you don't have the funds to push it.
Thank you for connecting with Simeon Ononobi today. Live sessions hold every Tuesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Please turn on post notifications for live updates.
Yes, we're back. Thanks for staying tuned to us. So we're going to go straight into the show. Chidinma,
yes.
You know how this works. So I'm going to throw questions at you, and we're going to very real as real can be.
Okay.
We don't bull in this show. We say it as it is. We've had people that have failed, that have succeeded. We've had people that went through hard times, but today they've done, and they tell us exactly how. They don't give us off the top. Oh, yesterday I was on the grass, and today I'm a billionaire. No. You tell us exactly what did you do, how did you do it, how did you navigate the hard times, and how did you become successful. So I know you today. You're very, very successful. But let's start from the very beginning. Yesterday, you left this country at age 10. You started making nuclear weapons. You went to medical school, you worked at Wall Street, you started your own business. Hey, Chidinma, you're in your 30s now. How come? Take it from the beginning. When you left this country very, very early. So let's start from there.
Yes, so I was born in Abia State. I'm an Imo girl through. My village is in Imo. But my dad was working in Abia, so that's why I was born in Abia. We left when I was 10, went to Nashville, Tennessee, and that's essentially where I schooled for the better part. So I went to the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. I studied nuclear engineering, this thing that you're talking about, building bombs. Studied nuclear engineering with a minor in business. I've always loved business, so that's always been kind of like a part of my journey. And then I finished school, and then of course I have African parents now, and they said, "Hey, aren't you going to be a doctor?" I was like, "Oh, but I can still go and be a doctor. I don't have to have studied biology to do that." So I took my MCAT. And I got into medical school, and I went started studying medicine, but I hated it, as in like it was not my cup of tea. I'm very lucky. I'm blessed in the sense that I'm very studious, right? So I can essentially study anything and do anything, but it just wasn't in my core. So I was spending a lot of my time just looking at stuff around business, trying to understand how companies run and work. And so that part of me essentially won out. And 2.5 years into medical school, I dropped out and I showed up at my house with all my things, pretty much in a U-Haul, and essentially told my mom. Actually, her reaction was like, "I'm surprised it took you this long," and my dad's reaction was like, "Oh my God, my daughter never does anything that she's supposed to do. You would never, ever, ever. How are you going to survive? You don't want to get married. You don't want to do this." So for him, he was a lot more stressed. And I told him, look, I want to go to business school, but I'm going to work and get myself there. And that's essentially what I did. I took a job with the Navy, designing power plants to go into submarines and aircraft carriers. I know it sounds really hard, but when you study it, it doesn't seem as bad. So I did that for about
U.S. Navy.
Yes.
Wow.
So I worked for the new U.S. Navy for about just a little over 2 years. And true to form, a year in, I went and took my GMAT, which is an entrance exam for business school. I got into a few schools, but the one that really fit for me was Columbia Business School. So I wanted to move to New York, one of the biggest cities in the world. So that was part of it. And also the second part of it was that during the same time, I started a company with a friend of mine from undergrad that was called the Dent Board, which was a software as a service platform for dentists. So we started that company. The company was headquartered in Princeton, New Jersey. I wanted to be close by. So going to Columbia Business School was like a win-win for everyone. So 2.5 years into the Navy, I left, I waved goodbye, and then went to Columbia Business School. I focused on the company, and I also wanted to get a hard skill. So I studied entrepreneurship and finance. And then the company, we did quite well. We raised like 1.2 million. We started kind of like operating. We built out a team of 8. It went well. And then along the way, we just couldn't get the product out into the market. We just kept iterating and iterating and iterating. And the lesson, if you are an entrepreneur watching this, is it's okay to let your baby doesn't have to be full grown with everything fully formed for you to allow it to roam the streets of this world. Just let your baby fly and then iterate with the market. So that's what we couldn't do. And that caused us to fail. So once we failed, I was kind of like back at square one. I was like, what am I going to do? I've now graduated from Columbia. I have my MBA. What's next? So I decided, I really, really did like finance. I learned by doing. So it was important to me to just kind of get that hands-on experience so that I could really master that skill. So I went and I got a job at Wall Street working with Bank of America Merrill Lynch in equity research. So I covered, this is where it gets really interesting because the things that you do in your past, they tend to kind of come full circle. So I covered healthcare, right? Because I have a healthcare background. So that's what I covered. So I was covering the Fortune 500 companies. It's mostly Fortune 50 companies, honestly, that are public and, multi-billion-dollar companies, and talking to their CEOs and management and really trying to understand where's the stock market going to go today and tomorrow and next year. So I did that for a while. And then I realized, look, I have all of these skills now. I as an engineer, it's a way of thinking that you learn, right? You learn how to think as an engineer. I have a hard skill when it comes to finance. I've started a company before, so I understand operations. I have this medical background, so I understand healthcare. So it just became okay, I have all of these skill sets, but I'm only utilizing a little sliver of it in my current role. So how do I start utilizing it all in one role? And then I also wanted to be how do I help my own people? So that's what really drove me to start looking at emerging markets, start looking at what do I do in Nigeria. And that's what kind of got me back home. So about 2 years ago, to a little over 2 years ago, I moved back to Nigeria.
Cool.
Here I am.
Oh, wait again. Nuclear scientist or engineer, work with the Navy, did medical, like you've done everything. Like you've done every single thing, and you're still in your 30s. Guys, this is basically to say that it's possible. Like it is possible. You can start from anywhere, and you can become what you want to be. You talked about you came back and started investing, like, and that brings us to the topic of today. Who is an investable startup? Like, what do you look out for in a startup before you invest?
So I'll answer it in a interesting way. So first, you talk about what is an investable startup. The only way I would invest in a startup is if you are providing or filling a gap. So providing a service that people are willing to pay for. So that's the first one, right? You got to check that off the box. So once you have that checked, then it becomes a question of, okay, so what makes you really attractive to venture capitalists, right? Because you can be a startup and run your business, make money and survive and like even thrive and you but you're not attractive, you're not venture backable, right? But then so it's a question of what makes you venture backable. So for you to be venture backable, this is where it gets a little tricky. It's all about explosive growth and scalability, right? So you need to be able to prove to me as a VC that you can get to the hundreds of millions of dollars over the next 5 years. That's how you make sense as a company to put money in, right? That's what makes you venture backable. So now I, as a VC, want to understand, are you the right team? I understand the gap. I understand what your solution is doing. I understand that you're filling a gap and you're doing it well. The question is, are you going to be the winner? Are you the right team that's going to take us to that next level, right? So now I start looking at your background. Have you built something before in the past? Do you have industry expertise in this thing that you're trying to build? Like, what kind of founder are you? Do you have grit? Because we're in Nigeria. You're not in the West. Everything is not going to go easy for you. This place is difficult. It's hard to operate here. So I sometimes have this is like a weird thing, but I do have I've been thinking about it. And the more I think about it, the more I think it's actually quite correct. To survive within this space in Nigeria, the founder must either have a lot of grit, right? You're that founder that's dogged in your approach. You essentially just like you're running through walls like none else. It doesn't matter. Like you're just out there just kicking ass, taking. So, right? You're that founder, or you must be extremely conniving. Or you're smooshing and doing all the right things and, greeting and this and this. You're a smooth talker. You're able to convince people to do what you want them to do. And so it's almost like for this particular market, you either have to be really gritty or very conniving for you to survive in this market as a founder. And it seems like if you don't have either of those, you kind of like are just kind of like floating around and you kind of get gobbled up by the other people that do have that kind of personality. So we look for founders that look like that, have that grit, that are gonna be dogged in the approach, that are pushing without past any obstacles that comes their way, because you're gonna see them. You're literally going to like left and right. You're just going to have to figure out a way to navigate this market. So what makes you an interesting company for venture capitalists is that you can prove to us that you are the right person and that you have the right backing and the right team to grow, to build out a solution that is needed in the market. People are willing to pay for it. And a multitude of people are willing to pay for it to the extent that over the next 5 years, you're going to see hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue.
Cool.
You can take all my money.
Cool. So if we get you very well, you're saying, I mean, in a nutshell, you back a team and you also back what is sellable or what has been. So So the entrepreneur has to prove that this thing can be bought by one or two people before they can buy you.
Yep.
Okay.
More than one or two people.
More than one or two people. So the truth is that Nigeria, like we all know, it's a very tough place to do business. We struggle a lot to do it, but we've stood ourselves. We're not going to complain, so we're going to push it through. And you've been truthful. There are two types of entrepreneurs that can make it in that market. It's either you're a street hawker. You don't care what happens. You just go kill it. No bullshit. Just do it as it is. Nothing stops you from just trying to survive. Or you just, tell the story. Tell the story the way, people could, buy it and get interested in it and stuff like that. Which is also hard work, because for you to tell the story that doesn't work, I mean, it's too much of work to do. So yeah, I mean, I would take a real live example. You backed us at Thank You Cash. I mean, very early on, when we didn't even have a product, we're just trying to prove a product at that point. And you guys just threw, dollars at us and told us, just go build this thing out. We're sure this is going to happen. And why? And you even came back for more. I mean, after your first investment, you have a second investment. Why? What drew you to us? So that others can understand that, you did it for us. And we're trying to open and explain, what did we do right that made you guys come?
I'm actually quite happy to answer that, and it'll boil down to the same thing. So I'll focus on the two things. There's a team, and then there's product, right? So for the team, obviously, your own stats, right? So Thank You Cash came to us with people that had built companies in the past. You were building the payment gateway. What's the name of that? Simple Pay, right? You also had built MyAd. Was that what? Right, at the time, right? So you built Simple Pay. You had exited Simple Pay. You were building MyAd. Like, you are a repeat founder. And a repeat founder, not in a different market, a repeat founder in this particular market that is extremely hard. And what's interesting is that you're doing it over and over again, which shows that doggedness that I was talking about, is that even though it's difficult, you've built Simple Pay, you exited in one way, you're still building another company, and you're still trying to provide solutions for this market. So that alone, right, made your team astounding. You had Madonna on there. Your team was just a powerhouse team to back, right? So look at you getting all the. He's like, yeah. So that was definitely the one big thing. The second big thing, when you think about the space that you were playing in, right? You're essentially playing with it was loyalty, but it was essentially you guys were. It's an intriguing kind of time. It was an intriguing time to look at loyalty, because at that point, people were investing. People had, like, let's say it was like, what's a good example? So if you went to the cinema, they would have their own loyalty program, right? They probably weren't executing it really well. But you would go to, let's say, ShopRite. ShopRite had its own loyalty program, but nobody had actually built out the infrastructure. So when I say infrastructure, it's such a big word for us, because we love people that build infrastructure solutions. We like infrastructure plays across multiple sectors, because the market that we're in, there's just not enough infrastructure. So if you're building an infrastructure company, we want to invest in you. So you essentially came out and you were like, we are going to build the infrastructure that will allow you to essentially centralize loyalty as a whole platform. We're gonna centralize loyalty, and now if you were getting some sort of loyalty points from the cinema, now you can actually take those loyalty points and use them at ShopRite. Now everything is interchangeable, and what that did was that it was a win-win for everybody that was involved, right? At that point, it's a win for the merchants. It's a win for you, right? It's a win for the customers. So once you get this is a no-brainer, right? You look at it, you're like, yo, this is a beautiful thing. So once you saw that you're essentially building out this ecosystem that will allow everybody to essentially win. And what you're using is really, really, like, I think your customer discovery, you're solving that. You're solving customer retention. You're also solving that, right? And there was just a slew of things that you were bringing to these merchants that, like, nobody else was doing. So that in itself, you can see how excited I am. It's just exciting, right? And then you realize how big the market is for this, right? We are a huge market as a whole, and this program actually, because a lot of times we want companies that are essentially building solutions for the mass population. And the reason Thank You Cash is a mass populist thing is that it doesn't matter if you spend 2 naira or if you spend 200k naira, you're still going to get your percentage, right? So it now becomes like this mass market play that is just like a beautiful like present on Christmas wrapped in a bowl and delivered to us. Of course, what were we going to do? Just say, no, thank you, we don't deserve. Come on now, we'll give you your money. Go and execute this thing, please, and come back to us, when you need us. And then we double down, because what happened when you actually went out to execute is that you started realizing that there are different avenues in which you can actually still play. Yes, you were in loyalty, but now you're collecting data, right? So now you're getting all this data about different customers, and now you're getting the likes of Access Bank that wouldn't be your normal customer base to come and say, I want to understand my customer base so that I know how to sell to them, right? So that I'm able to market to them at a lower cost and bring them my solution, but using the data that you collected about how they spend and where they spend and all these things. So now you've opened up a huge other market and a huge opportunity. And now this thing is scalable, not just in Nigeria. You're going to go from this market to a ton of different markets. That is why we doubled down. The explosive growth and the huge opportunity that was there, it's like undeniable. I mean, I don't know anybody that's gonna say no to something like that. So that's essentially the story around Thank You Cash and microtraction and yeah.
Thank you very much. I mean, I'm blushing. So thank you for a second to, like, take our all in. But thanks for, backing us. But you've done this for so many other things. So I'm going to take 2 things out you said. So first is you look at infrastructure. So hey, if you're listening to us right now, you're building a startup, and you want to ask a question to Chidinma, please throw it like straight up at us, and we will get Chidinma to try and delve that in. Opportunities and preparation, once they clash, hey, you have something magical. So this is the opportunity to actually reach out to Chidinma and get her. It's very difficult, trust me, super difficult to get her. It's not, you can't even drive to our office. Like, I know where it is. You can't even drive. So please, I'm not going to say it's Banana Island, but it's Banana Island. So I'm not going to say but it's Banana Island. Now, for you to get there, it's difficult. So please, guys, if you have questions, this is your opportunity to ask questions. If you have an investable startup, you have passion about what you're doing, and you also have a market that you're selling to that is responding to you, please, make your comments or questions, and she's going to take it. So infrastructure, yeah. It's true. In Nigeria, we lack infrastructure. We lack infrastructure in payments. We lack infrastructure in so many things. Like, everybody's struggling to build infrastructure, and we're trying to build that infrastructure. But you've also invested in so many wonderful companies. Like, I think 80% of your companies have, been invested in the Silicon Valley, we inclusive. So we've, I think we're the only portfolio company that's been 500. We've had portfolio companies that have been to YC. Like, how do you do this? I don't want to really tout, but you leave me no choice. I have to, wallet.ng or wallet.africa, Cowrywise, Schoolable, Buycoin, Reebok, 54 Gene, Sendbox, Temi. These are companies that I know are killing it. 54 Gene just raised like how many millions of dollars the other day. Like, how do you find how? I know, because we have investors dinners and stuff, so we talk, and I know that you found us when we were just like starting. What is that thing that just made you know that these are winners? Like, even if not, like, if you exit most of them today, you probably get 3x, 4x your money back. Question is, how do you know these companies were going to even get to this point? How did you see it? And apart from us, you invested in crypto, you've invested in finance, you've invested in school solutions, you've invested in you invest in almost everything, like every single thing. Like, so what exactly makes you a winner? Apart from the fact that you have a good team and stuff like that, what else? What else?
Yeah.
Should you look for?
So I think the key for us, it's not us that are winners, it's really our entrepreneurs. I hate to say it like that, but like it's so cliche, but it really is the people that we invest in. Literally, we always say, is this person a microtraction founder or are they not, right? And what is a microtraction founder? It is the founder that understands the market so much more than anybody else. I have a medical background, but the founder that 54, you see Abasi understands that so much more than me that there is no reason for us to even question it. So you have to really own what you're trying to build, right? It's that founder, the founder that is a go-getter, a self-starter, that is creative in the approach and willing to kind of push past all bounds, right? So it's really the founder that's been driving our success. Now, part of what we do too is that we understand the market that we play in, right? A lot of people will go to Silicon Valley, look at a few kind of VC firms and try to bring it here without adapting it to the local market. What we've done is say, look, we know that when we started microtraction, a ton of people were having a hard time that's why we write small checks. People were having a hard time just getting that extra 15K they needed to prove out their product completely. So actually, you have an amazing idea. It looks for us, the people that have a good enough understanding of the space, we're like, man, this is going to be magical if you can execute it, right? So some hindrances from executing is having the cash to do so. The other hindrance is just you as an individual being that type of founder, right? So if we see that you have that in you, it shouldn't be that because you don't have 15K, you're not able to test out this thing and push it forward. So that's the one thing that we really are focused on, is really saying, look, is this person a microtraction founder? Can they push this idea forward? And secondly, let's fill that gap. There's a huge gap in this kind of like early stage angel investing stage, where people are just having a hard time getting the little amount of cash they need to push this thing forward. Let's fill that gap. And in the meantime, because we understand that this is an awfully hard operating environment, we're going to put in place things that will make it easier for you to operate. When you onboard us, you onboard it's essentially like you're onboarding a co-founder, right? We will sit on the phone with you. I don't know how many times you can tell people how many times you probably called Yele to have you answer questions. How many times you sit, talk to you.
It's awesome. I mean, I need to say that you guys are awesome when it comes to that, because when we're writing our interviews, when we got into the first YC interview, it was Yele and Co and the microtraction team that were going through our, investment pitch, redoing our pitch and sending it back to us. Like, it was like, I knew what the pitch was, but it was like, hey, you not even started. Like, got on a call with the CEO of YC. Like, he did a lot of things for us. And I thank you guys for that. So that brings me to the next question. So it's not, you guys just invest cash. You all invest a team that backs that cash.
Yes, and it's not about the money. It's about opening. We invest ourselves. You get us. We talk about strategy. We introduce you to partners that will help you. If you're looking to scale with growth, we introduce you to somebody that we've onboarded that helps do that. If you're looking for a regulatory like you have some regulatory issues, you have questions, we introduce you to somebody that does that. If you're raising capital and you need introductions, we'll introduce you to our investor network. So it's essentially you are onboarding another co-founder that just has a wealth of network that they're just bringing to the table. And any obstacle that you face at any given time, you can bring to us and we will do our very, very best. And 9 out of 10 times, we'll find a way to kind of help alleviate some of those obstacles so that you can continue running. So that's essentially what we do. And that's what makes us different, that that helps our companies. It's once we remove some of those obstacles, our companies are able to just really focus on building their business and really focus on growth and really focus on just multiplying, their bottom line, because they're now not spending like 80% of their energy trying to make sure that they can, transact or do something that the CBN isn't easy to do. So that's essentially what we do, is that we remove the obstacles.
Thank you very much. It's like everybody's just enjoying it. Nobody wants to ask questions. Everyone's like, we're enjoying it. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. So I'm going to keep going. So you're a lady, and this is a topic all the time. Like, first of all, I'm going to throw two questions at you at the same time. So first one, how do you navigate a lady in business and all the things that come with, oh, you're a lady, oh, you can do this, oh, you can do that. And also, how do you talk to female founders? Like, do you have how do you help female founders? There's a statistic that just came out, 92.6% of investments that have happened this year has happened to male founders. Like, female founders are not getting money. How do we help female founders? Because they are really awesome. I have one on my team and she's awesome. Her. So how do you help female founders?
Yeah. I'll start with the first question. Look, it's I've worked in a male-dominated field all my life, from engineering to medicine to everything I've done to business. It's all male-dominated, and it's along the way you meet males that are so pro-females that they do open up doors for you and they do open up opportunities for you. And it's up to you to take advantage of those opportunities. You will also meet people that will look at you, and because you're a female, assume that you cannot compete with them on the same level. And it is your right, and you must, as a female, prove to them that on a level scale, you can compete with them and best them. So I think as females, it's always difficult. And even the male counterparts that you meet that are really, really happy to kind of help you move forward and things of that nature, there are just innate biases that people have, that it's not their own fault. Just because you have good intentions doesn't necessarily mean that innate bias that just kind of been there for all these years just goes away. So there's just a lot of obstacles that we face as females in that sense. But I think the biggest thing is not to wallow in that. I think it's important to, when you meet your champions, whether they're male or female, right? You need to really allow them to help you, and then recognize that opportunity is there. And if you see it, take advantage of it and go and prove yourself. That's the biggest thing. Don't be shy. Don't be so shy that you don't go out there and showcase your skills and show how well you can do, and speak loudly enough so that you can be heard. So that's one, and that's been a big thing for life. So that's just going to continue that way. And to be honest, I think the way we change it is, me, for instance, I'll give my own point of view. On the partner scale, I'm the only female, right, within our group on the partner scale. Now, what does that mean for me? It means for me that it is vital. It is the most important thing I can do, is that as we're hiring, that I make sure that we hire equitably, that we're hiring a diverse team, both male and female. So as that Microtraction really has 3 females and 1 guy at the moment, right? So we've hired amazing talent that are females. And then it's now on me to mentor our female talent so that they don't hit a glass ceiling so early, so that they can kind of continue to essentially grow and get to a stage where they can take my position, right? Or they can take another male's position and become my partner, so that they get up to that level as me. So it's me, it's females, it's on us to help ourselves. So we need to kind of work together as much as possible to make that happen. So that's one. The second thing is, yes, it is I spend a lot of time trying to figure out a way for us to see more female founders. And it's not, sometimes when the stats get thrown out there, I think it gets missing. It's not the real truth, right? Think about it. There's a lot of females that are not, the number of females that start companies are, I don't even know, maybe 10 times, 20 times lower than the number of males that start companies. So because the base is that way, as you are weeding people out, you're gonna weed out. Like if people even fall off on the same percentage scale, you're still gonna end up with like 1 female to 20 males. And then you're competing for that same money. So that's why when they say that 80 something percent, it's not necessarily that the investor sitting here is saying no to females. I think it has to do with really starting us early and making sure that we tell our girls that when they're in preschool, you want your girl to say, I want to build a company. I want to be an entrepreneur like daddy. I want to be an entrepreneur like mommy, right? If we can get our girls to a place where they're actually thinking about that as a path, as a viable career path, then amazing. I think once we do that, we're going to see, because when you put females and males in one room and tell them to compete, 9 out of 10, the female will win. If you think about it,
Yeah,
I mean, like just being honest. So if we get to that place where we're actually, there's a ton of, we can get the pipeline moving on the earth as early as possible, right? Where males and females are matching each other as they move down the pipeline, right? That'll tell you that I think if we can improve that, then definitely we're going to improve the stats of how many females are getting investors than males. But I think that's mostly it that's driving those stats.
So guys, you've heard it. My sisters that are out there, we
Yes.
need to get you guys building businesses.
Yes.
I mean, if you need co-founders that are males, get them, but you need to start building businesses. So yeah, we started getting questions. So yeah, I got one question from Babatunde Lawal. Do microtransaction invest in Agrotech businesses that are pre-revenue stage?
We do. We would invest in an Agrotech. So the way the microtransaction works, essentially, we invest in tech-enabled companies that have proven out their product. So you have to have at least an MVP. So long as you have a minimal viable product. For those that don't, are not in the space and don't know what an MVP means, you must have a minimal viable product. And once you have a minimal viable product and you are tech-enabled, then microtransaction could potentially invest in you. So please, we would love to invest in an agri-tech business. Agriculture is a really big space here. We know there's a limitation in the amount of, we import so much here, and eventually that has to change. And in order to get that to change, we're going to have to utilize technology. And so this is a space that we are extremely interested in. So if you don't mind, Babatunde, you can send me your deck or some information about what you're building at Chidinma. Is Chidinma@microtraction.com, please. And I would love to look at it. We're just always excited we haven't invested in one yet. So we're really excited to get into that space. So definitely, yes, the answer is yes, we do. Pre-revenue is fine.
Babatunde, open opportunity. So rush down now, open your email, start writing, man. Start writing. Send it. If you need help, go Google, how to set up a pitch. Start sending it through. Send it through so that microtransaction can look at it, and it would be one of our biggest hurdle connecting. So that's what this program is about. So we're trying to connect more investors, connect more people, connect more startups to great investors. And trust me, microtransaction is a great investor. Another question here. Steven says, we're looking to raise our second funding. What's the base of microtransaction investment, especially for a startup looking at going to market and improving operations? I would love to take a bit of a bite at this question. Steven, when you say second funding, what do you mean? Are you saying Series A, pre-seed, or, because microtransaction doesn't do Series A, they do pre-seed and seed. That I know of, except they've moved on. But I know they have a second company that now does Series A and Co. But I know they do pre-seed and seed, and
yes.
they've done both for us. So I need to know, what question. Except Chidinma can answer this question.
Yeah, so the answer to this question is it depends on the stage that you're raising at. Like he said, we do pre-seed and seed, and our base, because we have a standard deal. We generally don't deviate from that. There's a history behind that. We wanted, when we started Microtraction, we really wanted our founders to have complete transparency when it comes to the deal. We didn't want people to feel that they were taken advantage of. So if you went to our website, you would see the deal right away, which we have increased over time. So our deal currently is we give you $25,000 for 7% of your company. And we then run alongside you, as you know, like Simeon can attest to it, is that we essentially you onboard us and you onboard people that are literally ride or die for you until this thing completely takes us out. So or we all win. It's one or the other. We don't do middle ground. So that's essentially it. So we have a standard deal, and it's 25K for 7%. And that's because we really want our founders to have transparency. So if that sounds good to you and you're building something amazing and you're building a solution that is innovative and tech enabled and essentially filling a gap for this country or Pan-African, please, get a hold of us ASAP. We want to talk to you.
Okay, cool. So you've heard that. I like to be very open, so they've done more than that for us, but it was a follow-on. So if that is what you want to do, you have to prove to them first that it is something they will do the first round. Then if it's something that they want to do more, you go, yes, you've answered the question. You said going for seed investment. I mean, you can still reach out to them. Microtraction is one company that does more than just investments. And if you go to their website, you see their founders. They even have one of their LPs is Michael Sybil of YC. So LP is limited partner. So let me correct that. Yeah. Limited partner. So one of the limited partners is Michael Sybil, the CEO at Y Combinator in Silicon Valley. So I hope that answers the question. Another question is this.
We do actually. So the thing about Microtraction, which is really great, is that all of us have our own kind of set of skill sets. So I, if anything comes out of Microtraction that looks like medical devices, medical company, it's likely me that really understands that. So it's something that I probably drove really hard. Our founder, Dio, loves media. When I say he loves media, he is the media king. So whenever we see a company that is related to media, it can be gaming, it can be music, it can be videos, it can be anything media related. Dio is the person that I always bring on because he just really gets it. He gets it without having to ask questions. So yes, we do invest in music businesses. It has to make sense. It still needs to be tech enabled. Or if Spotify came to us, we would have invested in Spotify, but unfortunately, they were not coming to us at that time. but yes, the short answer is yes, we invest in music businesses, it just has to be fit kind of like our investment criteria, which is must be tech enabled and have a tech co-founder on board. Those are the two key ones that we really is a deal breaker for us if you don't have.
Okay, so that answers the question. I wanted to play a fast one on Chidinma by dragging Dio into this conversation, but I think he's not available at the moment. I want to just drag him immediately and say, Chidinma just gave up your love for music and for media. So yeah, Dio is a lovely guy. Dio is Dio is one investor that disturbs the living daylight out of you to make sure you succeed. Like Dio,
yeah.
Like I met Dio when he was even running his own startup back then. Yes, but Dio he's something else. Yeah. So I have another question. Okay, so it's a comment. So please, do you have preference for numbers or co-founders in firms you invest in? That's the same Bantade. So Bantade is saying, oh, good opportunity for him to actually quickly rush down to your website and quickly send you an email. But he also had a follow-on question, which is this.
Yes, we generally like 2 or more co-founders. The reason we like two or more co-founders is, two or more co-founders, at least one must be a technical co-founder. So that's the line. But the reason we really like two or more is that building a business, I mean, Simeon, let's turn tables. Simeon, how hard would it be to build this business
Without
Madonna? Please.
Yeah, it's impossible. So it's impossible. It's impossible because, I mean, from my previous failures, I realized that, hey, you can't do this alone. You need to bring more people with requisite skills that would complement what you're doing. So today, a lot of things go right with us, not because of me, but because I have an amazing team around me. Hashal, Suraj, Madonna are wonderful, wonderful people that will make sure I don't derail, and at the end of the day, we get things done. So yes, I don't think it's possible to build things alone. It's not possible. It's not possible.
Difficult, very difficult to do. So get a cross-functional team. Get at least 2 to 3 co-founders would be ideal. People that you can rely on. Like when this thing gets hard, they will serve as your therapist. When you don't understand what to do, hopefully because you built a really good cross-functional team, they understand. They can step into that and help. So it just really matters. It's best. This journey is best done. It's best not done alone. Is the best way to say it. So please, yes.
Cool. So thank you. I have a lot of people still trying to get questions through, and I'm going to drop this here. Please, if you can't get Chidinma's email, or Chidinma's email is being bombarded right now, as I should imagine, you can go to Microtraction website. It is microtraction.com. There's a form on the website. You can fill the form. If you want a personal intro, I am always happy to get things done. You could also email me at connectwithsimeon@gmail.com, and I will try and do a personal intro. These guys are lovely guys. They don't do big womanism or big mannerisms or whatever. They are really like straight core guys. Chidinma, come to my office. Can we meet? Chidinma just hops up on the next Uber and comes to the office. Like they are real down to earth people. You have a problem, they get down to doing business, and they do a lot of introductions. Most of the introductions we've had is through Microtraction. My very first time I was speaking to Michael Sybil was like a joke. It was just a phone call, and it was through Microtraction. Thank you guys for that. And it prepared us for a lot of things. So Alani said something. Oh, Simeon Ononobi, how did you go about getting those? This is a question for me.
Yes, now.
Okay. Especially the Indian guy. I wish I can draw one of them in-house. Like they're all good right now, but I would have just like pushed them out in here to just be part of this. But like it's pretty late. It's almost 10 p.m. So the issues are straightforward. What we did was, I just figured out I had an opportunity to meet with Suraj like years back. We're wonderful friends. Funny enough, Suraj wasn't my first friend. I got to meet Suraj through someone else. So I was working with someone in Ghana with very close friends, and I'm like, hey, I need someone to help me build out an iOS app while I could build the Android app. And he introduced me to someone, and I met Shaitan. Shaitan now said, hey, you know what? I think you should get someone else. There's this guy I know, Suraj, meet him, and you guys will become friends. We met at a conference also, and we became like buddies. Like he understood me, I understood him. We were just like perfect friends. And today, the rest is history. We've lived together in the same house. He's been to Nigeria, lived in my house for almost 2 years. We've been friends, perfect friends. We've eaten together. He's a vegetarian, so it's very, very annoying sometimes. But my family loves him. He has a permanent room in my house. Hashal, the same thing. Funny enough, Hashal, the first time Hashal left India was to come to meet us, to come to be with us, and it was just an amazing bond. Today we're bonded like we're bonded like soulmates. Like Hashal's, we call her baby baby. Thank you, Cash. Hashal's baby. Everybody's like just bonded. We're friends. We're family. And it has just built the company like that. So it's amazing. We know the beauty of it is that we all know our strengths. So they don't dabble with anything that has to do with CEO's role. I don't dabble anything that has to do with CTO's role or the engineering role. And Madonna handles everything that has to do with cash. You know her now, but she's cash madam. So she has everything that has to do with finance. So we know who handles what. I was very bad at finance until I met Madonna. So right now she's helping us with all the, financial part and business part and processing and all that stuff. So with that, we bonded better. So for me that's what it is. It was just building trust. And the truth of the matter is, Suraj was told never to deal with Nigerians. Like, don't deal with Nigerians. They are thieves, they are crooks, they are this, they are that. But he just tried it and he worked. So today he's amazing. He's my best friend, obviously, and we gist about a lot of things, and we do stuff together. So I hope I've answered your question, Olani. Thanks for the question, and and I hold them dear. So another. Okay, so there's a question here. Sorry again. Issues around equity split is always a problem. How do you navigate that? How do you also decide what equity to split to a co-founder? I don't know if this question is for Chidinma or for me, but okay, so let me try and answer that. It depends. I don't know, Chidinma, do you want to take a go at this?
Sure, I'll take a stab at it. So it's really important to make sure. So if you take nothing away from this, when it comes to equity split, you must have it vest. Please vest it over a period of time, because you do not want to give away 25%.
You need to explain that. You need to explain vesting.
Yes. Okay. What vesting means is that, so you onboard a co-founder now, and you guys just started this thing at idea stage. You started it together. So now you guys are working on it, you're giving all your energy, but then you're at a point where like you meet an investor, and investor is like, oh, I want to see your documents. So now you start talking to each other. It's like, okay, who owns what? So now when you give away, you decide even that you want to do, you own 40%, I own 40%, then we'll just leave 20 for the, employee pool. So that 40% that you give one another, make sure that you don't give it outright in the very beginning. Earn it over time. So that's what vesting means, is that, let's say vesting is typically a 4-year period. So you're vesting 25% of that 40% each year. So, right. So that, let's say this person now goes and they decide they meet some nice woman, and the woman the thing enters the brain, and then they have to now follow this woman to some Canada, let's say. So it's woman and Canada, and then it's you and your small company in Nigeria. They will now leave. If they leave and you didn't put a vesting structure in, they would have left with 40% of your company. But if you did put a vesting structure in, they were only there for 1.5 years. So they're likely just going to leave with 25% of that 40. But you can even talk to them to see if you can purchase that from them. But it's really important for you to kind of earn that equity that you're giving to the person, whether you're the founder or you're just a partner that got onboarded after the company has been founded. It's just important to vest. We always say that if you're the CEO and you bring on a CTO, you must at least give them at the very least 10% in equity, because at that point, it could be because you're further along, you must give them at least 10% to incentivize them to continue to work on that business. And this is 10% vested over a period of time, a period of 4 years. So, and it's important to do that because you want to make sure that they're incentivized to continue working with you. And it makes us as investors feel good to know that this person has we call it skin in the game. They have a stake in the company doing well. So we see them like really trying to work hard to get it done. But the equity split, if you can do it based off of, there's different ways you can look online, but there's different ways to do it based off of the how much a person is putting in, what the sweat equity that each individual individual team member is bringing into the business. Because sometimes it will be like your one person is working full time, the other person is still part time because they're not ready to leave their company and they have to make small money before they can leave. So you can't give the same person that is working full time and taking a higher risk the same amount of equity as the person that's working part time. So you have to do it based off of the sweat equity. That's what it's called, the amount of work and effort that they're putting in at that particular point in time. So those are some of the ideas, but you can definitely Google this, and there are multiple different ways to do it, but that gives you a head start on the key things to look out for.
Okay, yeah, so let me take a stab at it too. So you talked about split. So from my experience, what we did was simple, and I wanted to just play a joke, but what we did was very, very simple. We separated the company equally. And we told ourselves that we would do. So we separated the company equally, and we said each founder would take equal because we're starting it together. So each founder would take equal, but the founder with the idea plus the leadership quality would take one of that space too. So it was like, so let's take a figure. So it's like 10, 10, 10, but the guy that with the idea would take an extra 10. So that's how we shared it. Now, those are not real figures, but I mean, that's how we did it. And we split it in that manner so that it would work across for everybody. And Hashal, who is our fourth co-founder, became a co-founder from being a staff. So he was our first hire, but seeing all the things that he had done for us, we just decided this guy cannot leave. Like, we need to invest in for 4 years. So we all got our shares and we gave to him, and he joined as a co-founder. We also gave him the title of co-foundership because he's been there from the very beginning. So we were 3 co-founders, then Hashal joined us as a 4th co-founder, and we gave him, equity in the company based on, all he had done for the company. So he's one person that we couldn't have lost at that time, because he was really a core to us. So that's how we became 4, and that's how we split it. He doesn't have as much shares as the rest, yes, but I mean, he has shares in the company, and that's how we split the company. Investing, we all vested. So we have all vested our shares in the company, and we're reinvesting. So when we got into an accelerator, we're told to reinvest. So we had to cancel and reinvest again. So for another 4 years, we all staying in the company, and we keep reinvesting and reinvesting. So that when a founder leaves, he or she just takes the amount of shares that he has vested. Vesting means, like Chidinma said, the amount that is not available to you. So if it's for 4 years, you divide it by 4. So whatever stake I have divided by 4 becomes mine, and I can do with it what I want or sell back to the company. And you would always know who is. I mean, if you bring the co-founder, you decide, like, what is this person worth to you? And you decide as a founder to know exactly how that person's impact would be for the business. So, and I don't feel it's right to cheat anyone. So if the person is doing a lot of work for you, give the person the value of the shares. Like, it's not a problem. Also, we're now doing employee stock option. So we have a pool for employees that are going to kill it with us. And we give the employees that number of shares based on those things. So I know Nigerian employees don't really like shares. They don't understand it, but I mean, just keep it there in case.
Don't worry. When you become one of our first unicorns that pop out of Nigeria in this season, they will now understand why shares are important.
So basically that's it. Simeon, I will be happy to. Oh, okay. So we can discuss that later. You can shoot me a message. It's a personal question, so you can shoot me a message and we can handle that. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, someone said, please don't stop, just keep going. Okay, we'll try. That's not the question. Another person said, I'm really learning a lot from this session. What's turned microtraction away from investing in a startup? Okay, so maybe I should take that.
What turns marketers away from investing in a startup? So we like really smart founders. So if we feel that the team you don't have industry expertise, you haven't done a lot of research into the market, you really don't understand what your model is going to look like, you really don't understand how you're going to reach your customer base, or you think that you have a customer base that you're selling to a certain customer, but the product really isn't geared to that customer. Those are the things that make us question. It makes us go question mark, question mark, question mark. If you're not thinking about it now, I doubt you're going to be thinking about it after you get 25K. So those are the things that really get us to halt, is when you haven't really done enough deep dive and you don't have a really good understanding of why you're building what you're building, and what the customer, the value that product that you're building is actually bringing to the customer. And then, because when you understand that, you're then able to monetize it and figure out how much monetary value is the customer going to place on this service or product that I'm giving them. So when you don't really understand all that and you're just like, oh, I'm selling, I hate to say, nothing wrong with selling mango at the corner of the street, or nothing wrong. But let's say you're just like, oh, I'm selling mango at the corner of the street, I don't really know who my customer is, they're this and this. We can't really invest in that. If you don't see a path to scale, it's difficult for us to invest in companies like that. So there's a multitude of things that make us kind of turn back. And one of the biggest ones is people that are, you need to be very principled. We like people that, you say you're going to do something, you do it, that, you don't pack your deck with, things that are not truthful. So it's important for you to be very honest about where you are. It's important for you to be very honest about kind of like your revenues at the moment, or all those things. If we smell like that there's a lie here and there, we tend to kind of pause. So that's one of the things that really will give us pause. Some of those things will give us pause.
Cool. So I'm going through Microtraction website. So just to try and give you guys a sense. So it's microtraction.com. I know you can see this. It's microtraction.com. You click on apply for funding. This is typically what they start with. You can go down, see their portfolio companies. Yeah, that's where we sit. Yeah, the founding guys and all the people that are working with them and all that. So that is what it is. So if you want to hurry up, go straight and
click apply. Yeah. Open application all year round.
Oh, okay. So Chidinma, you have one question more before you leave. Okay.
How does microtraction ask for simple? Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's really 7% for 25K. So microtraction plays in the very, very, very early stage. So most of the time we're finding you, Simeon can attest to it, we found him before the full product was built out. He had articulated it, thought through it. It was just like he was still building the product. And I know Simeon turns around a product, like he would do it over a 24-hour period and bust out a product overnight, because he's a tech founder. That's what's great about it. But that's just to say that we find people so early in the stage that most times you're pre-revenue. You've built out a product, but it's a minimal viable product. It's not the full product that's out. So really, that 25K for 7% is valuing the company at about 350K, roughly, dollars. So if you can imagine, we're telling you that before you have your full product completely built out, but you have an amazing idea and you have an MVP, a minimal viable product that you've now put out in the market and have gotten some feeders and people like it, X, Y, and Z, that we're telling you, yeah, you at that moment in time, you are valued, you are a $350,000 company. That's how Microtraction comes up with that 25K for 7%. That's it, it's like it's just a calculation. It's essentially what we're valuing the company at in that moment. Now, as you grow your product base and then you also grow your customer base and you get more revenue, you can then start putting a multiple on that revenue to figure out what your true valuation will be. And most times that's when you're trying to raise, like with YC, or you're trying to raise a seed round, or even a series A, you will, because most of those companies are not profitable, you're still being valued on a revenue multiple. So you then look at how much revenue you have. You might be able to slap, depending on your sector, you could slap the 10 times multiple on that. And then it tells you how much you feel like your company is valued at that point in time. But when you're in essentially your basement and haven't completely built out the model, the product, but you do have a minimal viable product and all that, we think you're at 350K. That's how we come up with that.
Thank you very much. Olani, I hope that answers your question. And most other micro investing companies or accelerators do the same thing. So it's not just at that 350K or 300K valuation. It's also the fact that they're putting in grits. They're putting in a lot of efforts to make sure that you become profitable and become successful. So they're not going to just let you buy. They're not your typical investors. Your typical investors will put money and go to bed and wait for you to go and generate the money and come back to them. They would be with you continuously until you become successful. Microtraction has been with us for over 2 years now. Actually, before we became a product, they were the first, very, 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 very first company to put money into us, apart from our, in quote, co-founders. So that is it. Yes, I'm going to answer that question about Tunde. Do you invest in startups in cities outside Lagos? Yes, we
do. And we're Pan-African as well. So if you are outside of Nigeria, we would love to hear from you as well.
Cool. So yeah, if you have any other I'm going to throw this out there. So we are a 500 alum company, 500 startups. If you know 500 startups, you will understand the Silicon Valley based accelerator. I could actually just show you the website of 500 startups, and yeah, that's 500 startups. You can go there and enter for the accelerator program. If you are above what Microtraction, you've gone through, you've passed MVP and co, you can go straight and and get into 500, and I will be happy to help you. Having said that, I think okay, so some people want you to answer more questions.
Okay, can I go and get my battery? let me charge my battery. And then
did you invest less than 25K?
Do they invest lesser than 25? We used to. Currently, most people don't ask us to go less. Most people want more money.
Exactly. So I'm wondering, if you me 12.5 million naira, you're saying no, I want less than 12.5 million naira. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works.
So generally, people don't ask for less; they ask for more money. But we used to invest 15K, and we recently, up to about 2 months ago, we recently increased our. We used to invest 15K for 7.5%. And then 2 months ago, because we believe that this market is growing, and we pride ourselves in being very market centric, and we're growing with our market, we increased our investment amount to 25K and reduced the equity that we take. So we are now doing 25K for 7% instead of 15K for 7.5%. So I don't know if maybe that's what you're asking, but generally, if we go with 25K, for some people will not ask to take less. They want more.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, if you don't have any other questions, I am happy to let Chidinma off the hook. Chidinma, it's been wonderful coming on to the show. We really, really love you. You know we love you. You know we do love you at Thank You Cash. We love you so much. And the entire team. We love the entire team at Microtraction. You guys are doing an awesome work, awesome job for the African ecosystem. You're helping us build our stuff. Like I said earlier, you guys are doing something wonderful for us. And having said that, I don't know, I'm having an echo, but I don't know where that's coming from. Having said that, I believe that we could go as far as building something for Africa, by Africans, and you guys are doing an awesome job. When Yele told me about what he was building, I was really excited, and thank God I was one of the first people to receive money from them. You guys are doing like a lot of things. Yeah, so people are already congratulating you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge and experience. Yeah.
Thank you.
Some want to see Dio, like, hey, tell Mr. Dio about media.
Yes.
So
Please, microtraction.com. Send us the application or shoot us an email. We're happy to look at it.
Just go to Microtraction. Okay. So somebody says you want your email. So Chidinma at microtraction.com. Chidinma at microtraction.com. You want me to type that? I could do that. Chidinma at microtraction.com. And to reach me, you could always reach me at connectwithsimeon@gmail.com. That works. It works. It always works. So you can reach me at connectwithsimeon@gmail.com. But if you want to reach me for official stuff, Simeon at thankyoucash.com. Because if you have some money to spend on building, on building your company, yes, reach me at Simeon at thankyoucash.com. So thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for coming. We're launching something very soon, and this would be wonderful for us. We know it's difficult for Microtraction to start, mentoring or stuff. Apart, you have a lot of portfolio companies you're already dealing with. So we would love to send you applications that come our way straight to you guys to, help us with investments and stuff like that, and also help us, grow these companies. We're launching something very soon called My Deals. You guys will be first to hear about it here from Connected Analytics. It would be wonderful because we'll be giving some crazy deals, like 90% of whatever it is that you think about. And we're going to be launching it on our new app. And I'm going to quickly play you something that we worked on just to show the app and how it works. I'll play it at the end of the program, but basically it is to show you that we are thinking about you. We're building businesses. Connected Analytics is purely based on a company that focuses on building businesses. So we want to build businesses. Oh, Chidinma has already left the studio. Thank you, Chidinma. Thank you very much for coming to the show. If you're still out there, we're going to be launching a lot of things and a lot of segments on this show that would help you grow your business, that will help you connect as a staff, understand, how to work for conglomerates. We're going to be bringing big shots, small shots, everybody to the show so that you can learn more, you can grow more, things can work better for you. And, we're going live every Tuesdays, every Fridays with wonderful set of people. Please tune in. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, Connect with Simeon Ononobi on YouTube. Subscribe to it, and make sure you click on the notification bell so that you know when we're going live. We'll be going live soon on Instagram also. We're still working on that technically, so that you can get all the full benefits. So wherever you are, we could reach you with information. We could reach you with mentorship. We could reach you with deals. We can reach you with a lot of things that will help your businesses grow and also help you grow yourself as a career person. We love you. I love you for tuning in. Thank you very much for everybody that's contributed, everybody that's joining, everybody that's watched. If you have any comments to make, connectwithsimeon@gmail.com. Still remains the email. I love you guys. So we'll meet on Tuesday, which will be another fascinating program. Chidinma is back. Chidinma wants to say something before we go. Yeah, any last words before you leave? Hello, Chidinma, can you hear us? Any last words before you leave?
Sorry, guys. I'm having technical difficulties.
No issues. So any last words before you leave? Hello, Chidinma, can you hear us? Any last words before you leave? Oh, she's having some technical difficulties.
No idea.
Oh, she can't hear us. Okay, thanks for coming. I'm going to leave you guys with what Thank You Cash is building. This is what we're building. Yeah, thank you very much. So basically, we're building an app that will allow you pre-COVID, post-COVID to be able to buy stuff and earn cash back directly on your mobile phone. You're also going to be getting deals, like crazy deal. We call it mad deals, meaning that you could get up to 90% discount on products from reputable businesses around you. So please stay tuned to us. Make sure you're here on Tuesday. Make sure you're on Fridays. And keep it a date. It's 5 p.m. if you're in Nigeria. It is 9 a.m. if you're in San Francisco. And actually, it's at 12 noon if you are in anywhere around the East Coast. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for tuning in. God bless you. Till we'll meet next time. This is Simeon saying ciao.
Look around you. Where you are right now, as you're watching this, look around your house. There are tools you have you're not using that can actually fetch you a whole lot of funds.
Forget about what people are saying. Don't listen to what people are saying. What people say about you or think about you is none of your business.
Many entrepreneurs want to build a business at the same time feed from the business. It cannot work. In Lagos,
but you just get to do something. Stop waiting for the manna to fall from heaven.
never you at any point think you have 100% strength. It's not possible. So as a leader, you focus on your strength 100%, then your weakness, you get someone to fill it in. Now, the person you are bringing in, ensure that the person's weakness is your strength.
You have to come with something to the table. So what are you coming with as a woman? What are you bringing? Is it your intellect? Is it your beauty? We all know that beauty doesn't help anybody. If not, I'll be where Dangote is today.
Please, if you are listening to me, don't try and sell what is not sellable if you don't have the funds to push it.
Thank you for connecting with Simeon Ononobi today. Live sessions hold every Tuesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Please turn on post notifications for live updates.